Good afternoon. Today I am joining you for a workshop from Faculty Development, giving you a basic tour of Moodle. This will be a two-part video. The first part, we will cover the basic features of Moodle. As we begin, you'll notice that I'm starting from my desktop. I'm going to look for a moment at the agenda that we will follow. We're going to look at this training outline to give you basic navigational skills. So we're going to log on. We're going to turn on editing. We will identify icons. I will talk about forums, posting a syllabi, and adding activities and resources. In the next part of this two-part tour, we will then talk about the other items: gradebook, attendance, import, and sharing with other faculty members. Please remember, this is a tour. You can contact the Office of Faculty Development or the trainers for more in-depth instruction in any one of these items. And certainly, this office will be pleased to help you with that. But for today, for new faculty, we are going to cover these basic items in a tour of Moodle. Let's leave this agenda and begin from the very start. So I'm going to the Shaw University homepage. This is where you will want to begin. And using the link Moodle here on the web page, the home page, we access the distance education page. The Office of Distance Education has prepared this for faculty, students, and visitors to explain about online, hybrid, and video teleconferencing classes. As we use Moodle, we use it to supplement our face-to-face classes. It becomes a vital part of hybrid classes, and of course, it is the backbone of an online class. We go into this page and then we click Moodle. This is going to bring us to the login page. As a faculty or a student, you will need to look to the left and have your username and password available. These would have been issued to you as you begin your employment or as you enter the school as a student. So I need to log in using my username and password. Now I am redirected to the login page, the opening page. Here in the middle I see course categories, and at the moment I don't want to go into that. And over on the far right I see my name, my dashboard, a calendar, and courses available to you. Mine will look only slightly different. Yours may be collapsed into one single entry. But when I come to spring 2012, I can look to the little plus sign and collapse or expand my courses for spring. Collapse and expand my courses for spring. I want to work just here because this is where my classes are at, and although there are other classes that I perhaps could access, I want to work in my classes with you today. So I'm going to click one of these classes, one that has been reassigned, but I'm going to use it for training purposes. It's REL 499801 Spring 2012. Click that. Now you'll see I am redirected into the class itself. We want to observe the most basic features. These features at the top are the breadcrumbs, Moodle, Spring, and then the course name itself. Your course name would appear here in black. And then over here on the left, I have people, activities, forums, administration, and then my courses. Yours will look roughly like this. In the center space, we have either a weekly outline or a topical outline. Here is the open area before the class begins, and then after that it unfolds according to the weeks or topics. And on the right, I have as a minimal item news, events, activities. All this is available before we do anything as instructors in the class. Once you come into the class, the first thing you may do is to turn editing on. You'll find turn editing on the right. Click that with me. Immediately you see a change in the screen. We have boxes here that were not there before, and we have several icons appearing next to the items. Let's not leave turn editing on for the moment. Let's focus there. Every time you come into Moodle, if you see these blue question marks, you can click to get more information. And here I can become a non-editing teacher, student, or observer. Of course, I want at the moment to retain my editing function. When it says turn editing off, it's on. When it says turn on, it's off. Well, let's look at these little icons. Up here I have a news forum, and that's going to be loaded in every single class unless it's erased. Next to it you have these little icons, and it's good to get familiar with them right now. This of course moves right, this moves up and down, this updates or edits, this little red X removes, the eye hides, and this little people bubble person, that indicates that you have a forum and perhaps groups. So it indicates a forum and it can indicate grouping. Now each of these looks a little different. There is a Word document here next to syllabus. This is a page, which would be a internet page or a resource page and an attendance module. We've talked about online. We've talked about turning on editing. We've talked about identifying icons. Let's go down the page for a moment. This already has several more icons. with the little globe, that's going to be an internet link. With the clipboard, that's going to be an assignment. And here we have a clipboard on side with a check, which is going to be a quiz. These will become very familiar to you in short order. Now, one of the things that you will be doing during your classes is to have students interacting with one another. And I have here an introduction icebreaker forum already set up when we had begun this class. And I've got a couple of responses. As a teacher, you'll see these pop up. The system will tell you when you need to read these. Very convenient. Let's go into this and take a look at it. I'll talk about setting it up later. Once it's set up, these are the features I want you to look at. If you need to update a forum, you do that by clicking the Update tab in the upper right. Once it is set up, the text of the forum, that is what you're going to say, it will appear here. Here is the question. A student coming into it must respond in one of two ways. They must click this gray tab button to add a new discussion, or under discussions they must click one of the individual discussions to speak with the student or the instructor. Remember, they have to click this, or that is the discussion item, or they have to make a new discussion and click that. And because this is an advanced forum, I can sort it and I can choose other actions. I want to go back now. Follow me back into class using the breadcrumbs. Come back to the class. So far on our agenda, I have logged in, I have turned editing on, I have identified some of the icons, and I've talked to you very briefly about forums. One of the challenges that you will have is posting a syllabus. So let's see if we can find a way to do that in this segment of the video. I want you to pay attention for a moment to these blocks that appeared when we turned editing on. Add a resource and add an activity. Resources are those things you give to students. Activities are those things you require from students. Sending it out, getting it back. Sending it out, getting it back. Well, let's look under the resources. There are a list of resources. Some of them are very exciting tools. I like to use Book, and Lightbox gives you access to pictures. A directory will be a file. A video is just that. But what we're wanting to do is add a syllabus. So I must go to link to a file or a website. I must name it, and I must summarize it. The name is required, otherwise it will not load. In linking to a file or website, I must choose a file, and clicking that puts me into the files for the class. If I don't see what I'm looking for, Then I need to go outside by upload a file. Click that. I need to browse, which takes me to my desktop. I need to look at my computer to find exactly what I need for this class. And for the moment, I'm going to just put in a document as an example. So this says new document. I'm going to open that. I'm going to upload this using the upload button. So far, it only appears in my files. I must move it from file to the class itself. I do that by choosing, so click Choose. And if I've done this correctly, it appears in the location box by name. Now, I can choose if I want a new window, or I can even force them to download it. And when I save and display, I will see what they will see. Here it is, syllabus. It appears under the resource list. Let's go back to the class and look for it. Here it is, syllabus. Now I don't want to leave it there, so I can as easily remove it by deleting it. I'll be warned, and if I say yes, it will remove. It's that easy. But you must follow those two steps of loading it into your files and then uploading it. Now, that is a resource. By similar functions, we can add an activity. And we'll talk about that in part 2 of this basic tour of Moodle.